Welcome to Alexis Drinks, where we talk to your favorite brewers about their favorite beers, and then we drink them. Tonight we're here at 7 Mile in Rio Grande to talk to Pete Beta. Pete, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Welcome back to another episode of Alexis Drinks. We're here in Rio Grande at 7 Mile with Pete Beta. Pete, thank you so much for having us.
I'm delighted. This is so exciting for me, Alexis, because this is your first time at 7 Mile Brewery.
It is.
After 4 years of us chatting via text, phone, email.
You're asking the crap out of me.
Yeah, something or other. And so you're finally here on site, and I'm delighted to have you.
Thank you. And it's a great space. I'm, so impressed by it. I've never been.
It's a little bit modified for COVID rules right now, but
of course I'm seeing the caution, no bar.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can with what we have right now.
Yeah, you and everyone else. So
we're all just kind of trying to survive through it. But no, we're delighted to have you.
Excellent.
So,
thank you so much. Cheers. Well, and I'm very excited. See, I got a precursor is what we're having, but I haven't tasted it yet, ever. So, Pete, you want to tell us about it?
I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. So, the segment is a little bit about beers that inspired you. So I love to drink wine before I got into beer. So I was a huge wine drinker, and I loved wine, and always was chasing a better and better bottle of wine. And then someone introduced me to this beer. This is a Westmalle, which is from a Trappist monastery in Belgium. And it scored a 100 point in Beer Advocate. So that is like you can't get any better than that.
Right. It's like
and I thought, I got to try this. And then I had it, and I went, you know what? I don't have to drink $80 bottles of wine anymore. I can drink a $4.29 bottle of Westmalle and get just as much fun out of it, and all of the flavor profiles that just complement just about any food. It's just delightful, and you're going to enjoy the hell out of this.
We're going to drink it now, right?
It just has such great character.
Ooh. See, when I saw that this was the beer we were having, I was extra excited because just before I took the job at the NJBA, I went on a very spur-of-the-moment trip to Belgium with my father.
You did?
I did. And his plan was to travel across Belgium going to battlefields. And I was like, did you know?
This is the beer place.
This is the beer place.
Nice.
And so we went from Bastogne to Bruges, stopping at some battlefields, and we stopped at Chimay. I wanted to go to some more of the Trappist monks.
Well, Chimay is still a great, perfect, brewery that builds to style. And Chimay was one of my choices when I thought about Belgian breweries.
Yeah.
I actually looked at the shelf and went, I could bring a Chimay here and really enjoy that with you as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's, really, yes, Belgium is like where the beer is. And my dad does not drink beer.
So these are, what's classic about these, right? So these are, obviously, recipes are, hundreds of years old. The yeast strains are equally hundreds of years old.
Right.
So they have been regenerated for hundreds and hundreds of years.
We're drinking history, people.
Yeah,
history.
These are special beers. They're delightful to drink. They have such character. They have a little bit of that spiciness. You're kind of almost known as they call it farmhouse funk, which I just think is an awful kind of description for anything.
That sounds like a music style.
Yeah, like when somebody says the beer tastes like leather, I'm not sure if that's actually attractive to me, Like, it sounds like it could be cool, but taste-wise, leather doesn't come across as an appealing flavor.
But I feel like that's something that's a descriptive used in wine, too.
It is,
so
it
that,
is.
That marriage between the depth of flavor here.
Yeah, and I'd say that's really, I think you hit it right on the nose. It's the depth of flavor that comes out of the Belgian beers that makes them so special because of the
They've had a bit of
that are
time
here.
to perfect this recipe.
Yeah, I mean, they got nothing else to do but make beer. I mean, they're not making Bibles anymore, so they're making beer and drinking beer. So
Yeah.
God bless them. I mean, they're doing a great job.
Listen, they are doing God's work.
They're doing God's work, and please don't stop, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's all really good.
And so, because this is such a specialty beer, I would be remiss in not asking where you got your hands on it.
Actually, because it is a very unique beer, not often sought by a whole lot of Americans because they don't understand Belgian beers for the most part.
Mistake, guys. Get
Yeah,
on it.
terrible
Just
mistake.
get on
It actually, it's on the bottom shelf at Joe Canals. on the warm shelf, the bottom shelf, like where you couldn't find it, you'd probably knock it over with your foot or your cart before you'd buy it. And I knew where it is.
Right.
And so when I knew we were doing this segment, I raced over to see if they had some, and I got the last 2 bottles, and then I bought a couple other bottles of stuff that I think is pretty special too.
Yeah.
That if we needed more to talk about during our international segment, we can go. We can go pretty deep tonight.
So what the Alexis Drinks audience is going to miss is us just going deep on those Belgian.
Yeah. So I've got a couple others packed up that are ready to go should we need to go deeper. What's really great about these beers, so this is, Americans love to drink beer around 38 degrees.
Correct.
But this is, I got the special carafes out. So we hold these in your palm, let your body temperature warm them up.
Okay.
So when they get to about 46, 47 degrees, you'll notice that the nose starts to change and they start to bloom and all kinds of new floral notes come through and that leather starts to fade, right? And now it starts to get all these kind of spicy notes to it that are very attractive. Like I get like golden blossoms and things in here. It's it's delicious.
See, I feel like it's nice because in my brain I was like, oh, it's starting to smell sweeter than it did a minute ago.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I was just being crazy or like just.
As it warms,
Yeah.
it just becomes even better.
Well, and I
Now,
love this
there's
shape.
a certain point where it doesn't get
Right,
better.
yeah.
I mean,
Like you've reached the peak and like just drink it.
But
drink it.
but that's perfect. It's a 12-ounce, drink. We're sharing it, so we're being
thank you.
responsible.
Yes.
So, I mean,
Because we haven't established Alexis Ubers yet.
yeah, and it does weigh in at 11.2% alcohol, so it's all there.
Tonight is when we create Alexis Ubers.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Exactly. If that's necessary, we'll make sure you get home safely.
No.
We'll make sure you get home
Appreciate it.
safely.
Well,
I have my
you-
delivery truck. I can send you home in that. We can fit a gurney in there.
Solved. Well, Pete, thank you for opening this segment with such a great beer, and we'll be back after we drink some more of these. All right, welcome back. We are still here at 7 Mile.
All right, I'm glad to see that we're still here. That's good. We didn't teleport out to someplace else.
We haven't left.
All right, okay.
So-
Some altered universe. We're still in the same place.
Correct,
So
correct.
The signs.
Still at 7
All
Mile,
right.
turns out still
All
in
right.
Rio Grande, still
All
in
right,
Cape
good.
May County.
Yes, we are.
Which is, don't tell anybody else, guys, one of my favorite places to be. And that's partially because no matter where you go in Cape May County, if you go to a brewery, chances are you're going to see somebody else from Cape May County.
Yeah, we actually have 10 production breweries here in the county.
Yeah.
And we're all pretty close friends, so it works
are.
out really well.
Well, and again, so we were at an earlier episode at Slack Tide.
We were.
Where we drank another one, which
We
is one
did.
of your beers.
That's correct.
Spoiler alert, we're drinking a Slack Tide beer for the Jersey beer segment, but we also have some guests, like we have started to do. So come on, Cape May County, guys. This is a thing now.
Yeah. So let's talk about Thermocline. So Thermocline is
Good to see you.
one of Slack Tide's finest beers by far.
Yes.
They make
Thank you, Pete.
they make
Thank you.
they make a lot of great beer, just for the record. But Thermocline was the one that I fell in love with, and I spoke to Teg and Jason. And I said, I want to know what's in this beer, and they gave me a tip or two. And then, interestingly enough, I got all the exact same hops, and that's how we made another one.
It's great.
So there may be some similarities in it. I don't know. I mean, I've been told by a couple of the brewers at Slacktide it tastes a lot like thermocline. It wasn't my intention, but it was just the way it worked out.
Listen,
but
and
this
it's
is
delicious.
one of my favorites. So
And so enjoying it with us are Billy from Ludlam, Tony from Mudhen, and Jason you already know from Slacktide because we saw him earlier in this show. So thanks, guys, for popping by. And
Cool.
for
Cheers.
enjoying.
Cheers, man.
Cheers,
Guys.
Exit
Good.
stage
always
right.
good,
Cape May County rolls
always glad to
deep.
have you. Yeah. So part of the fun of being in the Cape May County area is obviously the depth and breadth of brewers. Beyond just the friendships that we've built is also the amount of knowledge that we continue to collaborate with. So obviously during the COVID times we've been struggling. I won't say, yes, maybe struggling is the right word. Sometimes I'm not sure.
Everyone's struggling in COVID.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to over traumatize any of it, but sometimes I feel like we struggle. But during this period, so from March on, we've all been in constant contact. Like daily emails, daily text messages with a thread, deep and wide and subjects varying, but always trying to help each other and make sure that we get through this, to the other side of whatever the hell this is, successfully. And I think our friendships have gotten better and stronger. And I'm excited as hell about that, as I look forward to the future in 2021. If, I wish it was 2021 today. Maybe we should call this New Year's Day, Alexis, and forget about what happened in 2020 and just begin anew.
You heard it here, folks.
But
New Year's Day starts just now.
But one of the things that we're doing in Cape May County right now that we're all really excited about is that of the 9 larger production breweries, we're actually working on a project together, a collaboration. We're all brewing together a robust porter, which
I like
is
the word robust.
Robust is just a great word for a porter. But it is a beer that we're working together. We're all going to sell it, and it'll be released on November the 7th. And all the proceeds will be used to fund the Habitat for Humanity at Cape May County. And we're also scheduling days where we're going to work together on the actual construction of the home. And then each of the breweries is probably going to have a day, because we're all large enough where we can have a team of 7 to 10 people on the project site doing a variety of tasks. And I think it's wonderful because it's another way for brewers, breweries, brewery staff to channel their energy, some of which is negative energy as a result of the last 4 or 5 months.
Listen, you want to swing a hammer, man, that's where to swing a hammer.
I'm looking forward to banging something with a hammer right now, so I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a great project. But it's also, it's one of the things that I've been someone who's always followed and tried to do my part to support Habitat for Humanity. Because it's a noble cause, and it's just some of the fundamental rights that all of us have in this country and actually in the world, to have a roof over your head,
right?
And be able to have food on your table. And I'm a huge supporter of No Kid Hungry, and just doing those kind of things. It's a place where brewers and breweries get to do something good with effect as opposed to affect.
Right.
We do something for affect every day. We make alcohol,
Thank you
and
very
it
much.
has its effect. But here we now have the ability to do something that builds a better community in the place that we live. And this one's really close to us all, and I'm excited about it. And Tony and Billy and Jason and the entirety of the Cape May brewing community are part of it. It's going to be an exciting project.
That's awesome. See, and something that I have come to know in my dealings with the beer world is how incredibly generous you guys are. I know that margins are tight and every day is a struggle, to put out your craft. Fantastic craft, by the way. But I have never known a brewery to be like, yeah, I don't have time to help you. There are so many things I think breweries do, and oftentimes because you guys want to just do them and you're doing them to do them, people don't realize. The fact that you guys are doing a collab for Habitat for Humanity, I think is something that a lot of people are going to be like, wow, that's really awesome. But for me, I'm like, of course they are, of course. But I mean, and that's fantastic too, because you get to talk about Habitat, you get to drink some robust porter, you get to swing some hammer.
Yeah, we get to swing a hammer, cut some things, but even just putting a shrub in the ground. You know, I know my family is excited about contributing as well and being part of the painting crew.
That's awesome.
I think it's going to be an exciting project.
Yeah.
So the beer will be called The Beer That Built the House.
Oh, I like that.
It's got a pretty iconic label. Jason's team worked on designing it, and we all kind of said, "Yep, that's it." And
But you're going to drink it after you swing the hammers.
You're
not starting with the
no.
beer.
The drinking goes after the work.
Correct.
Right. So
just making sure.
Just
no
like
one's going to be like robust porter, make it a house.
No.
The house will be
just like it works at a brewery. It's we make beer,
right.
We sell the beer,
right.
and then we drink the beer. But
awesome.
and that order can never be changed. So
it's smart
you may have heard me say that before, but that's pretty much our operating philosophy here at 7 Mile. Listen, we love to have a good time, but you know, making beer is a serious business, and it's a dangerous one at the same time.
Right.
So,
same
and construction would be in that same vein. Yeah, we don't want anybody operating. I'm pretty sure it says somewhere on here, don't operate heavy machinery after you've consumed alcohol. So we're definitely not going to do that until after. But you can imagine what the after party would be like on a construction site with brewers there.
If you don't trust me at the construction site, which by the way, no one should, do trust me at the after party.
Yeah, I think it'll be a great time. So we're looking forward to it. So that beer launches November the 7th. And we'll give you more updates over the course of the next few weeks. We're working in collaboration with, obviously, HFH, as well as a few of the other local institutions. So one of the things that a few of the brewers have done is we're actually adding some local fudge. So you know that candy in the Jersey Shore kind of go 1 and 1, whether it's saltwater taffy or
robust
fresh
porter plus
or fresh fudge. So Laura's Fudge in Wildwood actually helped us sponsor the program. We just brewed our batch this past week, and we put 25 pounds of fresh fudge into the boil. And I can tell you that it was like one of my best days of brewing beer.
That sounds amazing. Well, I hate to cut you off, but we have overrun this segment.
Yeah, I have some fudge. We'll go get that next.
Beer's good. We're going to go get fudge. You guys stick around. We'll be right back to talk about 7 Mile beer. And we're back. 7 Mile. We're now in the Brew House.
We are in the Brew House.
And now, what barrelage? What are we talking about?
So we have our 15-barrel brew house. So that's batch size.
Okay.
We have 135 barrels of capacity, meaning we can brew 135 barrels into the brew house, and that's roughly packaged out about 2,000 barrels per year.
Okay.
So
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty sizable. I mean, our max capacity is probably like 3,000 barrels in our current state. You know, and obviously times are trying, so most of our product is going to can today. Yeah. And so we're drinking something out of cans right now.
Right. What are we drinking?
We are drinking a Walter, which is one of my downright favorite beers. So Walter has got a little rich history with the brewery, but we call this a Mid-Atlantic style IPA.
Okay. And why is that?
Because we're not in New England.
Okay.
And so the hype was a couple years ago, New England style hazy IPAs. We said, no, we're not in New England. We can make a juicy IPA right here in South Jersey. So deep, rich haze, loaded with hops, all late edition. Probably 70% of the cost of this beer is the hops.
So that is a thing.
Yeah.
Hoppy beers are fucking expensive. I was so proud of myself.
Man.
So many episodes, dropping the F-bombs. This one we've done
cow.
it.
Well, so we've had a Trappist beer at 11%. We had a Slacktide beer at 8.8%. And now we're on to Walter, which is 8%. And Alexis has dropped the F-bomb. I think it's awesome.
It was bound to happen, and I'm kind of excited that it happened here.
Yeah, and by the way, it's more than welcome here. I mean, you know, I am known as the F-bomb king. In my previous career in Wall Street, my assistant used to say, at 7 a.m., if I have dropped the F-bomb, she knew it was going to be a really bad day. Because at 7, if I'm in my office screaming and yelling at somebody, F-bombing them, yeah, bad stuff was going to happen. So you're welcome to use those words here.
Thank you.
We don't judge. We don't judge at all. So Walter is just loaded up with a bunch of really crazy exotics. So there's Citra and Mosaic, pretty common, Eldorado, Equinox, all late edition, and then we do so many dry hops on this, just trying to pound it, and it gives you all those fruit flavors. So you're going to get mango, passion fruit, what we like to call all the
We call it a fruit salad.
the stone fruits.
The tropical fruit salad.
So the stoner fruits, or if that's okay too.
It's fine with me. I mean, we've got Walter White here.
Yeah, and the best part about this, so I have to tell you a little backstory on Walter. So the reason why it's called Walter White, so one, I'm obsessed with Breaking Bad. I thought it was like one of the greatest TV shows of all time. But story goes like this. So sometime February 2016, my then partner, no longer, and I were working in the tasting room doing construction. We had all paper lining up the windows in the brewery. And a woman knocks on the door going, "What are you guys doing in there?" So I hear the knock. So I open the door. It's like a Saturday afternoon. We're all sweaty and grimy from doing construction. And I open the door. It's just like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm building the meth lab." And she says to me, she goes, "Oh, really? When will you open?" I said, "September 2016. She goes, "Okay," and literally walks away. And I thought, this is insane. I'm like, how could this possibly been an acceptable response? And how could that have been an acceptable answer? And her reaction was, she's literally nonchalant, like, "Oh, okay."
Did she come back looking for meth?
I don't know. She may have. I hope I wasn't here when it happened. But the story just was iconic to me. And so somewhere in the traverse of the brewery, we decided to make Walter White.
I mean, you have to.
Yeah. So we decided to make Walter. And so Walter, I gotta go grab a label.
There we go.
So Walter White. So one, it looks like
Like a school thing.
Well, it
'Cause
looks
he
like
was a school
he was a
professor?
school
High
teacher,
school teacher?
and then Gail, who was one of his associates in the lab, used to write everything down in beautiful note paper and always beautiful handwriting. And so I wrote all these kind of notes and sketched together, on all the processes involved in brewing, and then the transformation of a hop into isohomulone, and just thought it was just fun. And it became kind of a different kind of beer, and it's called the Mid-Atlantic India Pale Ale, breaking all the rules. And I don't know what you think, but it's absolutely one of my downtown favorites at 7 Mile Brewery, which is why I decided to share it with you today.
Well, thank you.
So we've got a few that obviously I love. It's hard not to, since we make them. So
right. One would hope that you like the beers that you make.
Yeah.
I mean, just like
it's kind of crazy. Like, right, so customers come in and go, "Which ones do you like the best?" I'm like, "Well, these are all my children.
Right.
So you're asking me to make Sophie's choice. Like, excuse me, I don't know that I can choose between any of them."
One of the few professions where drinking your children is encouraged.
Yes, exactly. Right, as opposed to beating them. So we really do.
And cooking meth.
We do. Right. We do enjoy most of the beers that we make. Are there some that we love more than others? Yeah. It's just, based on our own personal preferences and styles. But at the end of the day, the beer doesn't get served unless we enjoy it.
Sure.
Right? So I'm the final taste tester for every beer that goes on the tap list in the tasting room. And if I don't want to drink more than 2 of them, they're not going on tap.
All right.
I'll literally put them in the drain where we're sitting in the brew house, and I could just pour them out in the drain and say, not going to happen. Because that's the quality control standard. But, for the most part, that's happened once or twice. It's unfortunately.
Listen, some kids need to go down the drain.
Yeah, some kids need to go down the drain.
Metaphorically.
Yes. But with beer, it's safe to say. But we haven't had a lot of mishaps. But, and we enjoy drinking great beer, and we're going to keep on making great beer, right? Our motto is great beer for great people. It's what we do, and, it's all about the folks. I mean, at the end of the day, if we're not making beer that people want to drink, then why are we doing this, right? I mean, I could drink it myself, but that's not really
It's not sustainable.
No, it's not going to lead
sustainable.
me onto a road to profitability.
Correct.
And I know my wife will often ask me if that's really why we're doing this, but at the end of the day, I think that's what we're trying to do.
All right,
So,
well,
Walter White,
Walter
cheers.
White. Cheers, Pete. Thank you so much for having us down.
No,
Really appreciate it.
So enjoyed having you here, Alexis.
You
and
guys get down
so-
here too. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
Alexis drinks.
Alexis drinks with Pete.
Great.